Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead Micro Moment Monday, where today we are going to pack up pasta for long-term storage. A lot of the videos that we're going to be doing for the next little while have directly to do with leveling up your food storage, which is what we presented last week at our Micro Moment Monday. As you can see, this is a lot of pasta. Well, it is for us. We are not big pasta eaters. This is our year's supply. But if you watched our video on last Wednesday, you know that we are battling an especially bad rodent problem out in our food storage. And while we just had these sitting out on the shelf, pasta is very, very, very dry. And it's not susceptible to microbial penetration, but it is certainly susceptible to rodents. And we thought we had not had any problem with rodents up on that high shelf. But just barely before this video started, we found one little edge of a package of spaghetti that had been compromised. And so that package of spaghetti is no longer with us. And so we are going to be a lot more careful with packaging up things that rodents can get into. Now, I want to talk about this list for just a moment. We've had a lot of comments on this. A lot of you have let us know that you can hardly see the green writing, and that's understandable, and that you tried to take a screenshot and it was all blurry. Here's what I have done. I took a picture of this and turned it into a handout, which you can now download on our website. Here's the address for our website. Just go right there, and on that home page, scroll down until you come to the downloads. There are about 14 or 15 documents that are listed there that are free downloads for you. And the very bottom one is Level Up Your Food Storage, and it is a picture of this very thing so that you can have it. Now for today, you may notice that pasta is right here at level 3 for long-term storage. But here's the thing, and I haven't talked about this yet, but about this level system is that level 3 feeds into everything above it, level 2 feeds into everything above it, and so it is a very, very connected cycle where things are integrated. But pasta can go way beyond 1 year. And how do you package it in order to do that? Well, this spaghetti was purchased in May of last year. I just took off the outer wrapper when we had to remove one of these little packages, and we purchased it over a year ago. It's perfectly fine. Some of these other packages of spaghetti are 5 years old. This one was purchased in May of 22 as well. These are much older than that. And this is probably 5 or 6 years old. It will still be good. So how do we do that? What is the best way? Well, like many things in food storage, the answer depends. What does it depend on? Well, anybody, anywhere, if you are very persnickety like I am with a whole lot of things, then what you can do is take the pasta out of the original packaging and package it in Mylar and vacuum seal it, and then put those Mylar bags in a bin so that the rodents can't get to them. I'm not that persnickety with pasta. If I still lived in Houston, I would do more than what I'm going to show you because it's very humid there and moisture can get into packages like this sometimes. I lived there. And don't leave your potato chip bag open because you will have wilted potato chips. So if that is the case, if you live in a very humid area, you might want to pack a desiccant with the pasta. If you live in a dry area like we do, we live in the desert, we get like 12 inches of rain, a little more than 12 inches of rain per year. Our air is very, very dry. And so I can leave pasta in the original packaging just on the shelf if we didn't have trouble with rodents. So now I'm going to be packaging it in these bins. Now I had someone ask, well, can't rodents get into plastic bins as well? And the answer is they probably could if they got really, really desperate. But we just don't have the means by which we can purchase metal big metal containers to keep rodents out completely, so we have to do the next best thing. Now, we have been packing our food in these bins like this, especially our freeze-dried foods, for a couple of years, and prior to that, other things for over 10 years in bins like this. And we have never, even though we live on the edge of the wilderness and are very susceptible to rodents getting into our garage, we have never had even any tooth marks on any of these heavier plastic bins. And we have some that are quite large that we have some of our wheat in out in our lab where we keep our freeze dryer. So today, what I'm going to do is to repackage these by keeping them in their original containers, their original wrappings, and just putting them right down in these bins. Now I want to show you these bins. These are different than this bin, for instance. We packed a lot of our stuff that was in plastic in Wednesday's video in bins just exactly like this. And we just brought this wide egg noodle pasta home from the restaurant store this past week and put it in here, but I'm going to move it into these bins. Now these bins are different, and I just got an order of 6 of these bins just exactly like this from Amazon. I will put the link in our Amazon store. These have a little blue gasket that runs completely around the edge so that when you lock it in place, it is much more sealed than this bin is. This bin will still let air in, which for some things like those things like syrup and soy sauce and the things that you saw us pack up in these bins, it doesn't matter if air gets into them. It really doesn't even matter if air gets here. What we want to prevent against is moisture and dirt and rodents for sure. And so just packing in these bins with this little bit of a gasket is just fine. Now, if I wanted to, I could add to that an oxygen absorber. But as one person just pointed out, actually this morning in a comment that I read, air seeps back into most of these plastic bins, even the ones that have that gasket around it, and it does. Plastic 5-gallon buckets aren't totally airtight. They're very, very airtight. It takes a long, long time for air to seep back in. And so what you do is you add an oxygen absorber and then go ahead and let the gasket do its work and hold that oxygen absorber in there for as long as it will work before more air starts seeping in. But it will work long enough to kill any bugs that might be in there. Remove the oxygen, kill the bugs. And so that is what you would put an oxygen absorber in here for. I'm not going to worry about that because it's not bugs that I'm concerned about with this. We've had all this pasta for a long, long time. No bugs, only a rodent. So here we go. So these we're going to pack right in here, keeping them in their original container. Here is some fettuccine. It's going in here. I still have, ooh, it's getting heavy. I still have more room. I've got these loose packages I'll put in here. Now there's not very much air left in here because it's taken up with product. The space is taken up with product. But this will keep the rodents out. For some reason, the rodents just don't bother these bins, which is really lucky for us. Now, this is one bin. Here is another bin. And I'm going to put this whole thing still in its original packaging right here and fill it up with these other extras. This is orzo. That works. That works. And then this one is this big package . It is open on one end because we used some of this to make stroganoff the other day. I'm keeping it in, oh no.
You get stirring in the counter before you...
Yeah, it's clean. So I'm just going to roll this down and put this right in here. And it will have its own bin. I have these 3 bins of pasta that are going to be good for long term. But what if I want to use some for level 2 or particularly for level 1, which is where we are really focused on right now? Well, the purpose of these is to rotate through them. And so of course we want to bump them up these levels. So even though these will be good for several years, 5, 6, 10 years, it'll be just great. I might need to get in here and pull a package, and perhaps I will not use all of it. When that happens, then I use it right here for level 1 immediate use. Here is a package of spaghetti partly used. Here is some more. This is linguine partly. I've used part of it. This is a cine di pepe, which I now learned how to use. Here's some of that orzo with an open box, and one of those packages of pasta that I've used half of. So these go in this container. That fits right in my pantry. And so this is what we have for level 1. So this is a quick overview on what you can do with pasta. If you're more persnickety than I am, you can pack these in glass jars and vacuum seal them, canning jars and vacuum seal them. You can put them in Mylar bags if you would prefer. You can use a desiccant if you live in an area where there's lots of moisture. These will be in the dark in our garage, which we have a heater there for the wintertime that keeps everything above 40 degrees. In the summertime, yes, things get up to in the 90s, sadly. One of these days, hopefully we'll be able to enclose that area in and put an air conditioner in there. We do have an air conditioner in our freeze-dry lab for those foods. So that is it. This is the quick and easy way how to pack up pasta for long-term storage as it fits in our leveling up for our food storage. So thanks for being with us. Hope this information was very helpful to you and that you can get your pasta secured from whatever threats there might be where you live. So we will see you very soon for another video.